go. We're here at ODG. I brought my HoloLens and my Snap spectacles so that we could compare wearable on-the-face devices, but it's Consumer Electronics Show time.
Yes, sir.
And we're here a couple days early to get a look at mixed reality glasses that are obviously under wraps. So who are you?
So hi, I'm Nima Shams, Vice President of Head-Worn here at ODG, and CES is going to be huge for us. We just came out of a big announcement, our first Series A, $58 million, largest in wearable history, and then our exclusive partnership with China Mobile with 800 million users and 40,000 stores, exclusive partnership with ODG. So at CES this year, we're announcing 2 new products.
Yay! And we should set up a little bit about, because people who are going to watch this video are going to watch the whole thing anyways, because this is an interesting company, and the rumors are that Facebook's talking with you. I mean, I'm hearing all sorts of rumors about what you're about to show me and who your partners might be, but congrats on getting China Mobile.
Yeah, thank you.
Really ODG's been here in San Francisco for a decade or something.
Yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
Right?
We've been doing Head-Worn since 2009. Our CEO, Ralph Osterhout, is a prolific inventor. Yeah. His passion has always been Head-Worn. He made the first night vision goggles that the U.S. military uses. And he always said, your primary senses are on your head. Your eyes, your mouth, your ear, your brain, everything's right there. That's where the technology should be.
And you it started out as a company building for military, right?
Yeah, government use cases.
That's why we never knew about ODG before, because you weren't about consumers, but now the world is switching to consumers. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to take our time. Unlike typical startups or companies that build something, show the world, we were very systematic, right? We started in the hardest environments, dirt, sand, oil, heavy government work and industrial work, refined the product, learned about it, ergonomics, fit, functionality, feature set, took that and went into enterprise. So the R6 was industrial, R7 that's currently shipping, back ordered thousands of units, is targeted to the enterprise. And while we learn, we evolve, and we slowly go to the eventual goal of a consumer product.
And an earlier iteration of this got sold to Microsoft, or the patent portfolio got sold to Microsoft, which might have shown up in this product. It's a Microsoft HoloLens, but you guys have been at this for a long time.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, we've been at this a long time. We've been, the number after each of our glasses represents the generation platform. So what you're going to see today is the R-9 and the R-8. So that's the 8th and 9th generation platform we've developed in Head-Worn.
Yeah.
So
let's see it.
Yeah, all right.
So let's talk about this world, because mixed reality glasses and Microsoft HoloLens is a good example. They have optics that put virtual stuff on top of the real world. They have sensors that sense the real world, so it can see that wall, and it can put an alien coming out of that wall. Right? It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And there's soon eye sensors. Facebook just bought iTribe in Copenhagen, which is an eye sensor company, and Google bought iFluence, which is in our book. Our book is all about augmented reality, all about the space. You guys are in the book too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And there's a few other things. Artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role in this, because it needs to look at the room and know that you're a human and that's a wall, right?
Yes.
So that it can put the right virtual stuff on both surfaces, right?
Yeah, in many ways, and you're absolutely right. In many ways, a wearable device needs to be smarter than the user, right? You choose when to engage your phone. You pull it out, you interact with it, you put it away. But a wearable device, it needs to know what you're doing and when you're doing it, and feed you the right information at the right time. The 3 fundamental pillars we're built on is cinema quality optics. Literally, our lens designers are the guys that design the IMAX lenses. Full integration, you don't need a phone or a tether, it's all integrated, and extreme mobility. Every product we build is designed to be used indoors and outdoors, in a lab, in an office, in a park. That's the 3 pillars we stand on.
Yeah.
So the first product we're going to announce is the R-9. So if you notice the R-9, it's fully integrated.
Yeah.
All the technologies inside. One key announcement this year is we're going to be the first company in the world to have the Snapdragon 835 processor in it, period.
Yeah.
So that's a huge trend away from the past, where it was always launched on a phone. Qualcomm and the 835 is going to be announced on.
Now we should talk about this, because Microsoft has put the Windows 10 on here.
Yes.
You guys are running Android.
Android, Nougat. So latest and greatest Android. Why? Because that simplifies development. Right? The hardware is the barrier to the entry, but it's the development and the software that makes it magical. And we want to really take advantage of all of those developers.
Not only that, but Android was designed from the ground up to be a mobile operating system.
Absolutely.
I.e., it's designed for a small battery, a small GPU, a small processor, a small amount of memory, et cetera, et cetera. Windows was designed for desktop computers, and now they've laid a holographic operating system on top of it. But it's not optimal.
Absolutely.
Right? In fact, one of the things I really don't like about this is when you do see Windows show up, they're still bringing old style Windows in there, which has some advantages because one of the nice things with augmented reality is you're going to get as many virtualized screens as you want. You can have a big 80-inch screen right above your head, right?
Absolutely.
And so playing Windows might make sense for a lot of people, right? But I think Android is going to give you battery advantages.
Correct.
Windows doesn't.
So the Snapdragon 835, which as of right now shouldn't have even been announced yet, is a 10 nanometer technology FinFET. World's first 10 nanometer, 8 cores, optimized for power and wearable, and physically it's very small. We'll show you what that's been able to reach. So the R-9 is targeted to the developer community. It's targeted to light enterprise and the prosumer. You get a massive screen, 110-inch screen, 10 feet away, full immersion, a dual 1080p in each eye. But what you notice...
Now, a year ago, we saw a prototype of this, right, at CES. In the
exactly, the Project Horizon.
What's changed in the last year?
Absolutely. So definitely the optics have been significantly refined. So if you thought the optics in the past were good, you'll be blown away with this. 2, the integration and ergonomics have been defined. 3, if you notice, there's a row of connectors. Those expose the MIPI camera signals and USB. What does that mean? To our discussion earlier, different snap-on sensors. So if I want a time of flight sensor, if I want a cellular sensor, if I want a Zigbee sensor, this system is designed to be modular. So you click it on, you map the room. You click it on, you send signals back. So because that technology is becoming commoditized, what we've done is allowed it to be modular on this design.
Yeah.
Second thing you notice about the front is there's 2 cameras. There's the 13 megapixel high definition camera, and above it is a fisheye. So why do we have a fisheye in our glasses? Every ODG glass from now on that ships is going to have this fisheye because it allows visual odometry. So that means that when you wear the glasses, they start scanning the room and knowing where you are in that room. Yeah. So when I put an object on that wall, it stays on that wall. When I render an animation on the table, it stays on the
now,
table.
you're doing the point cloud then? You're making a point cloud
Correct.
out of the imagery that you're seeing. Do you convert that to a polygon mesh?
Exactly. So this is part of the...
What do you let developers do?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do. So it's part of the VR SDK. So it's not only the fisheye, but there's an IMU here that takes up to 1,000 samples per second. You fuse that into the 835's DSP core that's been optimized and really refined for wearable and optimization of tracking, and you expose those APIs. So now any Android developer can start writing content that sticks to the real world and stays there. Yeah. So we think that's going to become very magical. What you're going to see, unfortunately you guys can't see the demos, what Robert's going to see is we're going to watch a football game, NCAA football game. 21st Century Fox is one of our partners, so we have access to their content. The football game is a virtual screen that's just floating. It pushes back and characters pop up. So now you have Madden style on your table and you can walk around and watch the play happening. That's just mind-blowing. Second thing, we're not an AR company or a VR company or mixed reality company. We're all of them. We're mobile computing. You're going to see a demo at CES, which you're going to be there, where there's going to be the real world and a portal, just a door. You walk through the portal and you're in a VR environment. You can look around and you can engage, but that door still stays. Yeah. So you turn around and you walk out of it and you're back to the room.
This is the problem with all of these devices. Showing this to consumers
is so difficult.
It's difficult because even if I put my camera up to the lens and got a good image, it doesn't show you what it feels like. And being in virtual reality or augmented reality is mind-blowing. When there's aliens coming out of the wall and drilling holes in the wall, like on my HoloLens
Yes.
does. It's everybody's like, holy shit.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable, right? And right now you're seeing a lot of customers do like Caterpillar's using these for training people how to fix tractors and stuff like that because they can afford the. How much are these?
So great question. We're actually announcing price on this. It's around $1,800.
Yeah.
It's targeted to the prosumer and developer.
These are 3,000. So
Huge. And
these are $130.
Yeah, there we go.
But they don't show you anything.
you can do a little size comparison, right, between the glasses. So
Yeah.
So targeted to a prosumer and light enterprise market. But now, Robert, let's talk about the next product we're launching.
All right.
So this CES we're showing the R-8s.
Yeah.
This is 119 grams. Extremely light glasses. Look at the standoff and the size compared to some of our friends, right?
Yeah.
This is the Snapdragon 835 inside, and part of the beauty of the Snapdragon 835 is how miniature it is. So what we've done is we've taken the glasses
Yeah.
and we've allowed them.
Now keep in mind this has no displays. Only has a little camera and a little light on a button.
Exactly.
And a Wi-Fi radio in there. This has a full Android computer and screens. And
64 gigs of memory, 4 gigs of pop, Wi-Fi 802.11 AC built in, full GLONASS GPS tracking ability, and if you notice on the top, same fisheye camera.
Yeah.
But now where are the other cameras? We have 2 cameras. Stereo cameras behind the lens. Why is that important? Because when I wear these glasses now, it captures the world in 3D. And if a partner or peer or colleague of mine doesn't just see telepresence, he experiences it in full 3D. So that's what these glasses are. Full HD displays, independently driven, fully immersive, and fully see-through.
now you don't have eye sensors yet, right?
This version does not have eye sensors, correct? But it has full head tracking and it has full spatial tracking. Now here's the part you're going to ask. What's the price?
All right, what's the price?
Under $1,000.
Under 1,000. And when are these going to ship?
2000.
CES is always like 2018.
2017.
Sometime.
This is actual molded parts, Robert. These are mold. This is a first pre-production unit, but these are actual molded parts that are coming off of the tool as we speak. Runs Android Nougat.
That's cool.
And if you don't mind, I want you to wear it to experience how
I
light
will.
they are.
Let me get through the interview.
Sure,
this
absolutely.
interview first, and then we'll have some fun.
So a few other features I want to highlight. Built-in audio speakers.
Yeah.
So when you see an experience, you hear it. USB-C, we adopted USB-C because that's where the industry is going.
Yeah.
For enterprise, we want to be compatible with USB-C. Full ergonomics and nose bridge adjustability, removable. You could put new different nose bridges on. Full ear horns, also removable and adjustable.
Yeah.
So not only are we looking at cognitive load, but we're looking at cognitive ergonomics and physical ergonomics. Because at 119 grams, you could wear it all day if you wanted to. You could wear it and experience whatever you want, put it aside. This is a first foray into the consumer market. And this is the product that China Mobile saw that got them very, very excited.
Yeah, this is a very, very nice product. Sure. And this runs Unity, so you can develop using standard, VR style tools.
Absolutely. So a few partnerships we're talking about is Unity, Vuforia specifically, that also builds Unity, so allows you to render content in the real world. We partnered up with a company called Otoy, which I think you're familiar with. They've won 2 Academy Awards, Benjamin Button and Avatar, and all of their rendering. So that's remote computing. You can put high-end gaming or animation and stream it down anywhere in the world and experience it on a mobile device.
This is a great personal media device for using in planes. For this instead of Bose headphones, right?
Exactly.
Put on these, and you get what kind of screen do you get in front of you?
So this one's the equivalent of a 90-inch screen 10 feet away.
Yeah.
So it is cinema quality optics and imagery, but it doesn't isolate you, right? Because it's see-through, you can make it as opaque or transparent as you want, and you're going to experience that. So if you're in a train, you still want to be aware of your surroundings, just in case, right? Yeah. But how else are you going to have a theater on your head? And a product like this allows you to do that. Or if you're watching, like we said, a football game or a basketball game, imagine we're all Warriors fans here in the Bay Area. You're watching the new Warriors game. You see the play happening on the table. And now if you want to see the other angle, you just move the court around. And if you want to see what Curry is doing, you push on a button, and if there's a 360-degree camera, you could experience it from that. It's going to revolutionize how we consume information, how we interact with our environment.
I'm sold. I wrote a book on this.
I know you did. Good book, by the way.
Getting the average consumer to get sold, that's a whole other issue. And I think 2017 is going to be a big year for augmented reality or mixed reality.
Right.
I call it mixed reality because that's what Microsoft calls it. And also, it delineates from older augmented reality technologies, sort of like what you showed me last year, right?
Yeah.
Showing me an image on top of the world, that's augmented reality.
Yeah.
But mapping it to the world is mixed reality,
So,
right? And we're heading toward a place where we're going to have virtualized user interfaces,
Absolutely.
right? And that's coming really fast. In VR, we are already designing music using like Soundstage, a game called Soundstage. Musicians can completely virtualize their sound studios.
Absolutely.
It's really crazy, right? It's crazy what's coming.
It is great. It's a great time to be alive. So one other demo that talking about the mixed reality you're going to see today, and sorry guys, you won't see it, is you're going to experience a car racing game, an AR car racing game, interactive, that you're going to drive on the table. But then when you push a button, you're going to become the car, and we have a 360-degree camera, and you're going to see yourself playing the game. Right. So it's AR, it's VR, and it's mixed reality. And you're going to experience that today.
So let's go through some of the keywords that people are having to learn.
Sure.
SLAM, for instance.
Sure.
What is SLAM?
So SLAM is simultaneous location and mapping, I believe. So if I got that wrong, sorry guys.
Yeah.
So what that means is the device actually knows where it is in space and starts mapping itself in that space. Why is that important? If I want to put an object on the table, I want it to be on the table, but the device needs to know where the table is and know where the user is relative to the table. So SLAM, integration of all of that 6 stuff, 6 degrees of freedom, ability to put an object and actually walk, rotation, and translation.
Yeah.
All of that we're going to start incorporating into our technology.
I've started saying if you don't have 6 degrees of freedom in a VR device, you don't have real VR.
Exactly.
In other words, if you have a Samsung Gear VR or a Google Cardboard, you do not have real VR.
Absolutely.
You need something that's tracking you.
Yeah.
HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, they use devices up on the walls, right, to make a play space that actually tracks where you are. This is using something like inside out navigation, right?
Absolutely.
So the sensors here are doing an inside out mapping of the world, and therefore it can move around.
Exactly.
So it's really important because if you are on an HTC Vive, you can play basketball against other people.
Yeah.
You can shoot them, you can shoot zombies, you can ski jump, you can play archery, you can play all these mini golf, bowling, all sorts of games. But you need 6 stuff.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to move around a little space, right? To do that kind of VR. So this does 6 stuff?
It does 6 stuff. So to your point, and it's a great point, is those technologies are fantastic. I'm a gamer and I actually use both of them. Those technologies use what's referred to as outside in. So the device has the sensors. The lighthouse for Vive creates the field, you walk around it, but that limits you to where the field is. Yeah. What we're doing, because we're a mobile device and we want to use indoors and outdoors and everywhere, is we do inside out. Yeah. As in that tracking and sensing technology is built into our glasses and it looks out into the world. We actually, with our header, and because everyone knows that the Vive technology, the Lighthouse technology is open source, you could create a Vive module connected in here and join them in that basketball game in an AR scene. So it's going to be very interesting how you start mixing those technologies together.
Yeah. What else do we need to know about mixed reality at this point? And where does ODG see the market going? You know, because clearly it's starting to go from enterprise only, because the only way you're going to wear one of these is if your boss says you have to wear it. Right?
You said that, not me.
No, I have one and I can't wear it outside. It's too heavy, it's too big, it's too dorky, it's just too, and there's no software written yet for a shopping mall. Yeah. So the consumer use of this hasn't shown up yet. We all know it's coming, whether it's a year from now or 3 years from now or 8 years from now. It's coming certainly in that time frame. We're all going to be wearing glasses like this, right?
Totally agree.
Whether they're from Apple or Facebook or Amazon or Snap or
Absolutely.
Google is doing this stuff, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of competitors, and we haven't even started talking about all the Chinese companies who are obviously starting to get hungry for this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and this is a huge market. We believe that a product like ours will replace your mobile phone. It will. It is the trajectory of the way mobile technology goes.
Yeah.
The few things, though, is a consumer is not going to compromise, Robert. You know this better than anyone. They expect the quality of a big screen TV they have at their house. They expect the horsepower that's in their pocket. And they expect to be mobile and untethered and be allowed to move in their environment. So we try to go after those fundamental pillars. Yeah. You know, that image quality, that lightweight, that interaction, and that mobility is very key. So we hope that our foray into that space is going to be adopted very well. That being said, the hardware is the beginning, right? It's the platform that allows people to really experience it. It's the content and the developers and the software. That's why it's so important to us to be Android, open source Android. So those developers can do that magic when we expose the APIs to them.
Now, walking around here and having a relationship with you guys for a couple of years, I know your DNA is manufacturability, it's unique innovation, right? You guys come up with some crazy ideas. How do you make optics that are really cool, right? But you're not a name everybody knows. Right. In fact, very few people know who you guys are, right? And this video ain't going to change that in a whole huge way. It'll change it for a couple thousand people. So I see you guys are going to need to either partner for that or develop that expertise internally. You're going to have to hire people who've done it, like at Sephora and GoPro, created a brand. And I don't know that you guys have done that. We'll see when I talk to Ralph.
That's about my pay grade.
But I think it's going to be interesting to see where you guys go as a business, because it's clearly heading toward consumer, right? And you can see a couple more years of ODG's life, and all of a sudden we have glasses this size, and they're going to do a lot more eye sensors, artificial intelligence, blah blah blah. I don't know that you guys need to build all that, right? Because are you going to build an operating system that sees your fingers? This is where Meta comes in, right? I'm going to go and visit Meta again.
Yes.
Because they're building an operating system for these things. I don't think they're really going to be in the business of building something physical that you put on your face. I think that's you guys, right?
Awesome. I haven't had the pleasure of wearing the Meta 2. I've seen your videos.
Yeah.
It looks very interesting and moving. That's one way to interact with your environment. As you know, we have a ring controller that allows us to move, but it's not camera based. So again, it's not dependent on the lighting conditions of the room, and allows you to do full minority report, full voice integration, so you could talk to the devices. There's multiple microphones and speakers built in. So voice, head motion. So what we're going to demonstrate is some type of simple UI gestures just through the natural position of the body and the head. So there's a lot of ways to, what's the pinch and zoom of this era? And there's a lot of creative things that are coming out.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for showing me. Anything else before we start doing demos? And maybe I'll do a separate video after I get a demo of what this stuff looks like.
No, just that, ODG's announcing 2 new products, both coming out in 2017. The R-9 targeted to the prosumer and light enterprise with its ability to be modular. And the R-8, our first foray into the consumer.
Now, why is this a lower number, even though this is really a newer design than this one is, right?
The reason was the work on the R-8 actually started first. To get a product this small and miniature and light required a lot more engineering than building product that is more targeted to work. Yeah. And so the R-8 represents, this was our 8th platform, and that's our 9th.
And what would I see as differences between these two platforms? Are the optics any different? Do these have a wider field of view than these?
Absolutely. So this
and by the way, this field of view is fairly narrow. It's almost like having a 40-inch TV in front of you, right?
Correct.
When I compare the HoloLens to the optics in these, what's the field of view that I will notice?
Yeah, so this is the equivalent of a 110-inch display 10 feet away. This is the equivalent of a 90-inch display 10 feet away. Full 1080p, full 720p, targeted for modularity, targeted to be light. You know, for a wearable device to be successful, it needs to be out of the way. It needs to become light and it's become more fashionable. It's supposed to be miniaturized. And if you see the evolution, you see that trend.
Absolutely. Well, cool. Where do we learn more about these things?
So astronautgroup.com is our webpage, ODG. If you're a developer, you know, we have great discounts for developer kits. R7s are currently available. We're going to soon have the R9 and R8 developer kits available as well.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.